Hello, students, and welcome to our lesson. We'll start with our do now. We're going to start with responding thoughtfully to a question about pursuing our interests. Let's get a thicker line here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, pursuing our personal interests. Our objective will be to multiply and divide fractions, and we're going to solve some word problems today. Our essential question, how will I know whether to multiply or divide when solving a word problem? So we'll look at that. Our assignment will be to watch our video on multiplying fractions and dividing fractions as well. We're going to complete 2 assigned pages. In our exit ticket, I want you to complete this sentence. When solving a word problem with fractions, it's important to understand which blank I should use to solve the problem. For homework, I just want you to finish up any work that you did not complete in class. And let's just, as always, we are reminded, and especially since we have some new students and we welcome you, that our do now and exit tickets are done in teams. And our math work is completed on our paper notes. And please let me know if you're missing your notes. If you're new to class, I did drop off some notes to some students last week. If you don't have your notes, please let me know. And you can do that by letting me know in class or by sending me an email. So let's move on. Just a fun picture of 2 of my grandchildren today. Cardboard box for the win. I haven't seen them much, so my daughter sent me these pictures and I thought they were really cute. So I thought I'd share those with you. Nothing like a cardboard box, right? Just to have some fun. You don't need to spend money. Just get out your crayons or markers and, just go for it. So this is our do now. For our do now today, we want you to think of an interest that you wish to pursue, and that would be something new that maybe you're not doing. Is what is it that you've always wished that you could do? I always wished I could play the piano and understood how to read music. That's something I don't know. So what are the positive and negative factors that will help or hurt you as you pursue your interests? So if I wanted to learn to read music and play the piano, a positive factor would be that I'm good at learning, so, I like learning. And I have, a music teacher friend. And those would be the positive things. The negative factor would be probably no time. So maybe that's something I'll pursue this summer. But you think of your own interests and go ahead and put that there. And again, we'll come back to our exit ticket. So we're multiplying and dividing fractions. And it says, please find each product or quotient. So let's just review. The product is the answer we get when we multiply, and the quotient is the answer we get when we divide. So always let's look carefully at these. So number 1, we are multiplying. And do we have any opportunities to cross simplify? I'm just going to rewrite the problem. And I'm going to change my color for a minute. And I see that 3 is a factor of itself. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. I multiply straight across. Actually, I can cross simplify some more. I'm sorry, I should have done that right away. 7 goes into itself 1 time and goes into 14 2 times. Remember, smaller numbers are better numbers. So I'm multiplying across, and I have 1 6. And that's a final already simplified answer. With number 2, remember that's a negative 5/8 times a negative 2/13. A negative divided by a negative will be a positive. So 5 and 13, I cannot do anything in terms of simplifying them, but 2 goes into itself once and into 8 4 times. So 5 times 1 is 5, and negative times a negative is a positive. 13 times 4 is 52, and that's a final answer. Can't simplify that any further. So now with this -1 and 5/8, I need to convert that to an improper fraction. So 1 times 8 is 8, plus 5 is 13, so that's -13/8 times 2/3, and I can cross simplify that. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that would leave me 13 times 1 is 13. Negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 3 is 12. And if I take that 13 and I divide it by 12, I will have 1 and 1/12, and that's a -1 and 1/12. Number 4, 8 times 1 is 8, plus 7 more is 15, so that's -15 over 8 times 10 times 2 is 20, plus 9 is 29, that's a positive 29 over 10. Both 10 and 15 are divisible by 5, so this becomes a 2, this becomes a 3. And 29 times 3 is 87, and that's a negative times a positive, so -87 divided by 16. And we can simplify that as well. So let's see, 87 divided by 16 is 64, 4, 5. Let's try 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5, and 3 is 8. And subtract 7, 5, and 7/16. So that would be a -5 and 7/16. Okay, let's move on to number 5. So why don't you try 5 and 6? Those are both multiplication. And then come back to the video. Okay, so let's do some conversions here. 13 times 2 is 26, plus 1 is 27. -27 over 13 times -12 times 7. Let's see, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, plus 7 more is 91 twelfths. And both of these are divisible by 3. So let's change our color. 4, 9, and so we get a calculator for this. 91 times 9. Actually, I think we can cross cancel some more. 13 goes into 13 one time. 13 times 7 is 91. So 9 times 7 is 63. Negative times a negative is a positive over 4. And if we take 63 and we divide it by 4, it would be 15 times 4 is 60, with 3/4 left over. Number 6. So 11 times 1 is 11, plus 3 is 14 over 11 times a -7 over 4. So we can simplify that a bit, because 4 is divisible by 2, as is 14. So 7 times 7 is 49. That's a -49. Positive times a negative is a negative over 22. And if we divide 49, because we have an improper fraction, by 22, 2 times 22 is 44. And so that's 2 and 5 22nds. And that's a -2 and 5 20 seconds. All right, now we're switching to division. So number 7, we don't have improper fractions and we cannot simplify. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply straight across. Except we have to do our keep, change the division to multiplication, and then multiply by the reciprocal. And when we do that, we may be able to cross simplify. So let's just write our -4/9 times 21 over 8. And now we do see that we can cross simplify. See, maybe you can't in the original form of the problem, but when you convert so that you can multiply, then you can. So both 9 and 21 are divisible by 3. And both 4 and 8 are divisible by 4. So 7 times 1 is 7. 3 times 2 is 6, and that's a negative. And that would equal -1 and 1, 6. So we'll convert it to the mixed number. Okay, so keeping the first fraction, changing to multiplication by the reciprocal. And again, I can simplify. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Multiplying across, 11 thirds. And 11 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, with 2/3 left over. Number 9. Now we're going to have to do some converting. So first we'll rewrite as improper fractions. 6 times 4 is 24, and 5 is 29 over 6. Divided by 5 times, and it's a negative. 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 is 16 thirds. And now we'll rewrite 29 over 6 times -3/16. And 3 goes into itself 1 time and into 6 2 times. So 29 times 1 is 29. And 16 times 2 is 32. And that cannot be simplified any further. That's a final answer. Number 10. We have an improper fraction. 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 more is 15. So that's a -15 over 4 times, and it would be -10. Well, before we do the reciprocal, it would be -10 over 1. So when we rewrite this, it's -15 over 4 times -1 over 10. So 10 and 15 are both divisible by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 10 divided by 5 is 2, which would give us 3/8, and that would be positive because a negative times a negative is a positive. So try number 11 and 12, and let's see how you do. Okay, so first one, we have an improper fraction, so let's convert it, a mixed number, let's convert it to an improper fraction. 5 times 2 is 10, and 3 make 13, 13/5, and we'll multiply by the reciprocal. And we cannot do any simplifying there, so 13 times 7 is 91, 5 times 1 is 5. We take that 91 and we divide it by 5. 18 times 5 is 90, with 1/5 left over, so that would be 18 and 1/5. And let's rewrite this, keeping the division while we convert this mixed number to an improper fraction. 7/10 divided by 5 times 1 is 5, and 4 more make 9/5. So we'll rewrite as multiplication. And now we can cross simplify. 5 goes into itself 1 time and into 10 2 times. Smaller numbers are better numbers. 7 times 1 is 7. 9 times 2 is 18, and that's a final answer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do some word problems. So let's get ready for those. With the thing with the word problems, students, is you really want to read the problem carefully. And the trick is to know what operation you need to do. Now, all of these are multiplication and division. So Ben eats approximately 2,400 calories a day. That's 2,400 calories. His wife Sarah eats less than him. She eats 5/8 as much. So anything less than 1 would be less than him. How many calories does Sarah eat? So we're going to multiply Ben's calories by Sarah's calories. So 2,400 times 5/8. And we're going to put that over 1. Now, 2,400 is divisible by 8. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. 2,400 divided by 8 is 300. So 300 times 5 is 1,500. 1 times 1 is 1. So that equals 1,500, 1,500. And they're asking how many calories. So we'll answer 1,500 calories. An 8 1/2 sheet of paper is being cut into 1 9/16 strips to make a paper chain. How many strips can be made from one sheet of paper? And I'm sure we've all made these paper chains. They're a lot of fun. So we know this is a division problem because we're going to take this piece of paper and we're going to cut it into strips, but we don't know how many strips we're going to make. So the question is how many strips? So our question will not have a unit of measure. It's a number of strips. So what we're going to do is divide. We'll convert this 8 1/2 to an improper fraction. So 8 times 2 is 16 and 1 is 17. 17 halves divided by, again, let's 1 9/16. Let's make that into an improper fraction. 16 times 1 is 16 plus 9 is 25 sixteenths. Now, rewrite this as multiplying by the reciprocal. And we can simplify a little bit. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 17 times 8 is 136. And 25 times 1 is 25. And if we divide 136 by 25, 5 times 25 is 125, and we would have 11 25ths left over. So let's think about this. We have 5 and 11 25ths. Now, this is not our answer. Our question was, how many strips? So we cannot have an 11 25ths of a strip. Okay, we can only count the whole number. So the answer would be, how many strips of paper can we make? We can make 5 strips of paper. And number 15, Mr. Daniels has 1 2/3 acres of land in which he plans to fertilize. If each bag of fertilizer covers 1/9 of an acre and he bought 20 bags, how much will he have left over? So how much? I think a better way to ask this is how many bags? How many bags will he have left over? So first thing we need to do is we need to multiply 1/9, that's how much is in one bag, times 20. Okay, so 20 times 1/9 equals 20 ninths. Okay, So this is how much he's got as a fraction. That's the first part of the problem. Okay, now we need to take that 20/9. Okay, and we need to subtract from that this 1 2/3 acres. Let's convert that to an improper fraction. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So subtracting 5/3. Now, because we're doing subtraction, we need to have a common denominator. So ninths will work for us. So we'll rewrite this problem 20/9 minus, now 3 times 3 is 9. So 5 times 3 is 15. 20/9 minus 15/9 is 5/9, which means if each bag covers 1/9, how many bags will he have left over? This is how many bags he started with. This is how many bags he used. This is left over 5 bags. That was a tricky problem. Number 16, DeMarco has 2 cars. He has a larger car, an SUV, and a smaller car, a compact car. And you may not know this, or you may know this, but compact cars take less gas than SUVs. So if the fuel efficiency of the compact car is 1 7/12 times better than the SUV, well, if the SUV gets 16 miles to the gallon, what's the fuel efficiency of the compact car? So we're just going to multiply SUV times compact car. Okay, so the SUV gets 16 miles to the gallon. The compact car gets 1 7/12 times that. Let's turn that into an improper fraction. So 12 times 1 is 12, plus 7 is 19, 12, 12. Okay. Okay. So let's simplify this. We have an opportunity here to make these numbers smaller. Both 16 and 12 are divisible by 4. So this would be a 4. This would be a 3, because 12 divided by 4 is 3. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now 4 times 19 is 76. 3 times 1 is 3. Let's get rid of the improper fraction by dividing 76 by 3. And we know that 25 times 3 is 75. That would give us 1 left over. So that would be 25 1/3. So the question, find the fuel efficiency of the compact car. So the SUV gets 16 miles to the gallon. The compact car gets 23 1/3 miles per gallon, MPG. Our final problem of the day is about Kayla. Kayla has a 20-quart jug of lemonade that she is pouring into cups for her daughter's soccer team practice. If each cup holds 2 3/4 cups, how many cups can she fill? So remember, how many cups? We're not answering in a unit of measure unless we consider the cups as a unit of measure. She's got a big jug of lemonade, and then she's pouring it into smaller cups. And each cup holds the quantity of 2 3/4 cups. You could think of this as each glass. That might be clearer for you. Each glass holds 2 3/4 cups, because that's a unit of measure. And you can think of this as how many glasses can she fill. But they're saying cups because I guess they don't want to bring glass to the soccer field. So this is a division problem. So we have a 20-quart jug. Now, quart, 1 quart equals 4 cups. I don't know if you knew, unless you bake, you might not know this. So we have to do 20 times 4, which equals 80. Because we have to have both of our numbers in cups. So we have 80 cups divided by this 2 3/4 cups. So let me use another color. So let's rewrite that as 80 divided by, and we'll make this an improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8, and 3 make 11. So 80 divided by 11/4. Okay, now we'll rewrite it. 80 times 4 over 11. We cannot cross cancel anything here. 80 times 4 is 320. 11 times 1 is 11. And we're going to take that 320 divided by 11. And 11 into 32 is 2 times. That's 22, which leaves 10. And we'll try 9. 9 times 11 is 99. With 1/11 left over. So as an improper fraction, 320 over 11 equals 29 and 1/11. However, how many cups or glasses can she fill? We're going to assume for the purposes of this problem that they mean whole glasses, okay? So we're not going to fill an 1/11 of a glass. So our answer would simply be 29 cups or glasses. So those are a little tricky. The word problems are a little tricky to do. So let's go back to our exit ticket. When solving a word problem with fractions, it's important to understand which operation I should use to solve the problem. And it's important to read these problems over and over again. And the more you solve, the better you'll get at it. And the more you do, I know you'll be great. You've been working hard. A lot of you are finishing a little bit early in class. I'm super proud of that. You don't have to rush, but keep up the good work. And again, with practice, you'll be great.